Right, next we're going to have our speaker, who is Cathy Brown, who is going to talk about woodcraft and spring.
Right, I think I'm the shortest speaker, aren't I? Thank you. Span the world with friendship. That's our motto in Woodcraft Folk, and that's really about it sums up our aim to create a world based on cooperation, friendship, peace. Has anybody here heard of the Woodcraft Folk?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm talking to people who already know. So I'm sure you're aware it's a national, it's a UK-wide organisation, and it's a movement for young people and children to really help them to develop their self-confidence and their place in the world, and to encourage them to become active in the world around them, and to build a fairer and more peaceful world. So we really do encourage young people to get involved in woodcraft from quite an early age, and it's really because we're pinning our hopes on them to build this fairer and peaceful world that we want. So that's the bigger picture, but really, a lot of people say, what do you do? Well, we have about 400 groups across the UK, and they meet on a weekly basis, usually, in school halls, community centres, places like that. And they run groups for young people, mainly from the age of 6 to 20, but there are quite a lot of families who bring along babies and toddlers. I think our group in Wigston at the moment has a 14-month-old member, so there's, who takes part in some ways, I think, but is obviously going to be a very active woodcraft member as she gets older. And these groups tend to be grouped according to their ages, but there's a lot of mixing between the ages, which is very powerful for young people. They really do start to engage with other age groups, but also adults engage a lot with young people. So I'll say a bit more about that in a minute. But each group organises their own programme based on their interests and their expertise. So we've had groups running stargazing sessions, fun science, bread making, democratic voting sessions, all sorts of things that people within the group either have interest in and expertise in, or can bring other people in to do things in their groups. And the groups are always run on a democratic basis. So some are run by adults, and some by parents, and some by other volunteer adults. But they tend to run giving everybody a say in what they do. So I love the way that one of the groups in Leicestershire has a voting system. So they put together ideas at the beginning of the term for their programme for the term, and they give everybody of all ages 10 buttons each, and they vote on what they want to do. So they come up with a programme that is a consensus. And the sessions tend to be run by adults or by young people. So I felt really proud of the group I run or I coordinate is a teenage group. And last year, one of the 14-year-old lads who'd never volunteered to do anything before said, I'll run the mini cooking session. Mini cooking, by the way, drinks, cans and tea lights, and lots of messing around with bits of food. They love it. So he organised it. He made sure everybody brought a drinks can, brought all the equipment on the night, and even cleared up at the end. So that's what we're about. We're trying to get them, from even a younger age than that, to take part, to really get involved and to take responsibility. Loads of activities that we do in our sessions. Particular favourites are all sorts of arts and crafts, lots and lots of games as well, drama, singing, filmmaking. There are dozens of ideas. And I think the thing that is probably most popular across the country are parachute games. The big silk parachute. And one of the favourite games in my groups has always been sharks, where we've got sharks under the parachute, drag the young people under, and the adults as well. They quite enjoy doing it with the adults. I think you could probably say it's cooperation when you've got a whole group of people trying to save a colleague from being dragged under by the shark. And I also wanted to say that there's a view that young people are just consumed by technology. All they want to do is play on computer games. But I remember one parent saying what she loved about Woodcraft was that they're doing very simple activities and having a lot of fun. So it was only a few weeks ago, my group was that we did a fun science session, and I was fascinated just to watch this group of 15 and 16-year-olds spending ages playing with corn flour and water. I don't know if you've ever played with it. Non-Newtonian liquid.
Yes.
Fantastic fun. Fun for all ages. And they were at it for ages. And that's something you can do with toddlers as well. But I think it shows that they still like those very simple games and activities. But you know, it is a lot of fun, but we also have we address some of the big serious ideas. So we have sessions linked to cooperation, the environment, citizenship, democracy. So I remember running a session on voting. So I think just for about 20 minutes, my youngsters did understand alternative voting and single transferable vote. But I think it probably went out the other ear by the end. And the link is with spring today, of course. Now spring has sprung, definitely. The Woodcraft groups start to go outside a lot more, and there are loads of activities that we love doing outside. Bushcraft, fire making, tracking and trailing, night walks, nature walks, nature art as well. Natural art is another favourite. And we also do lots of more organised activities when the money allows, so we maybe go to the Outdoor Pursuit Centre to do raft building, kayaking, climbing. But although they seem fun on superficially, a lot of them involve cooperation, attention to the environment, and all sorts of things, and some fantastic conversations go on while we're doing these activities. And we also encourage young people to get involved at a regional and a national level. So in Leicestershire, we've got about 8 groups at the moment. And over the years, a lot of our young people have gone on to national committees, have been involved in focus groups, been on interview panels for Woodcraft staff. They really do get involved, and I think it's a real testament to this ethos that over half of our trustees are under 25 at the moment. And at the moment, 2 of our 18-year-olds in the Midlands are organising our Summer Midlands camp, which is great because they're very good now at engaging with the other young people to find out what they want in their camp. Which brings me on to camping on weekends away. They're some of the most intense and rewarding things we do. I've been involved for about 13 years and been on dozens of camps. And within Leicestershire we have district camps, but we also have the Midlands, the regional camp, and there are national camps as well. And they're mainly all ages and have a packed programme of activities, and we cook and eat communally. We're allowed to sleep in our own tents, which I think you need to sometimes after a week camping, especially if you haven't had a shower. Although we do have some brilliant solar showers, but they take about 4 days to build, and then they take about a day to take down, so they don't last for very long. We have campfires, lots of singing, loads and loads of games. And it can be challenging on a camp, especially when it's raining. You've got wet wellies, you've got cold, miserable children, but usually there's somebody there making hot chocolate and organising silly games to warm everyone up, and that really does cheer everyone. In one camp we had, I remember in the May bank holiday, we had very high winds, so we abandoned camp a day early, went back the next day, and our huge marquee was upside down in the next field. So we recovered from that though, and it's a good story to tell. So the mixed age camps can be quite tricky. I remember one lad, about 5-year-old, he discovered that if he climbed high in this tree on the camp and shouted that he was stuck, teenagers would come flocking to help him down. It worked about 5 times, and then it didn't. They got bored of it, so he then learned how to get down, didn't he? But although I've mentioned a few of the challenges, they've been part of the enjoyment. There's a real sense of achievement when you've cooked for 100 people at camp. And the look, we get all of we tend to work in clans, so mixed age clans who will prepare the meal and serve it. And we get all the young people serving it and explaining what's in the food. And the look of achievement and satisfaction on their face when they're serving all these people who then come up and say, "Oh, that was fantastic," or "I'm really full now." My children have been involved since they were each 6. They're now 16 and 19, so quite a long time. And they still sit over the dinner table comparing notes, comparing memories. So it might be the person who revealed that hidden talent at the talent show, or picking up windfall apples and making apple juice. It might be screen printing a t-shirt to their own design, torch walks, Kaylee in a tent is another one. That's a fantastic, thank you Michael for that. And yeah, making these meals for 100 people, where you have to spend 3 hours chopping 3 sacks of onions during the afternoon. But they're fantastic. These experiences are great. They're a real way of bonding with people and learning new skills. So, and I've seen young people grow over the years. They've developed their confidence. They've really come out of themselves and made a lot of friends. But it's not just the young people. That's happened to me as well. I didn't realise when I got involved with Woodcraft with my children that I would get that out of it. I've made some fantastic friends of all ages. And I feel it's a real privilege that I've been able to spend time with young people on an equal basis. So whether that's sitting at a table, doing some silk painting, chatting about their schoolwork and their home life, or it might be chopping those 3 bags of onions while they're listening to music, and we're discussing their taste in music. But they learn about us as well. So we learn to engage with all ages with Woodcraft. So that's only a quick taste of what Woodcraft is. Obviously a lot of you have all heard about it before. We always welcome people to get involved, whether it's with their children or adults who want to come and offer an activity. So Michael, for instance, is coming to a much younger group next Tuesday to help them sing songs. They're a new group and they don't know many Woodcraft songs yet. So I think they're making their own instruments and they're going to have a singing session, which will be really good fun. So if you'd like to know any more, then please chat to me afterwards or look at our website. And as we say at the end of our creed and our outcry, peace. Thank you.
And just what a wonderful model that would be for our future citizens. In my benign dictatorship, Woodcraft will be compulsory throughout the world.